Hello and welcome to this episode of Countercurrents. Today we're going to take a slightly different tack. Someone who is not widely known or well known, but a very courageous young woman who is a war correspondent in the battle zones in Donbass and has been in Kursk. Elizaveta. Elizabeth. We look forward to chatting with her and finding out why she's doing what she's doing. Please hit the like and subscribe button, and welcome to Countercurrents. All right. Now we're happening. Elizaveta, thank you for doing this. Can you say where you're physically located or a general idea without divulging any military secrets? Hello, are you there? Whoops. Looks like you froze.
Yes, I'm correctly. Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, you froze for a little bit. Okay.
I'm here. Now I'm in the Kursk region, so we're working here now, but in some time we will move back to Donbass and we'll continue to work there.
Okay, so this may sound like a creepy old man question, but it's not intended that way. But you know, you're obviously an intelligent and a beautiful young woman. Why are you working as a war correspondent, not as a model?
Well, thank you so much, firstly. But to tell the truth, I didn't have like a goal to become a war correspondent or a correspondent in general. I didn't have such a dream. But to tell the truth, I have a completely different education, and I hope that after finishing special military operation, I will return to my roots and work in my profession. But skipping all the details, it so happened that for some time I worked for federal channels, and I thought that I could help by covering the events of the special military operation for a large audience. But like my duty and my desire to directly serve to the state, to my state, was higher. So I signed a contract, and I didn't have the qualifications like for a drone operator, or especially since they wouldn't have taken me as an attack aircraft or something like that.
Yeah.
But I'm very stress resistant, and I'm excellent with a camera. And most importantly, I'm an ideological person and firmly believe in what we're doing. So my camera become my machine gun. I thought a lot about like how useful what I do and how much it helps. And I often get very upset as if it's not enough. But recently I was talking with my colleague there, and he said that this is the most important work because since I show our fighters how cool they are, it charges them and motivates them a lot.
Right.
So you can't imagine what kind of support is for them. It's elementary, for example, when they send material with their participation to the homeland and show them to their families. It's worth a lot.
But you know, the I call it information operation, and there are times when it can be propaganda, but there's also more often when just getting the truth out, as you say, that people can see what's happening. Because I know that the Ukrainian forces, with the help of NATO, they've been very active in spreading just blatant lies. Everything from Russia's running out of missiles to the soldiers are fighting with shovels to they're having to steal computer chips from refrigerators and washing machines in order to fire, just one lie after another. So it's good that you're in that position to counter such lies. So what have you found to be the most challenging or difficult part of your job?
Oh, well, Since that I'm not a simple correspondent, but rather a contract holder, that is, I'm aware to some extent this is a slightly different story than, for example, my colleagues who simply come here on business trips for some work, because I live here permanently. And for example, if my commander tells me to take up arms, I will do it. So I cannot say that I find anything particularly difficult. I'm simply a fairly cynical person, and also given my past work experience, essentially when coming here, you must have this report in your head that this is war, and it won't be easy in any way. There will be death, there will be burnouts, and of course it will be difficult. But I was ready for this, and I don't know, I'm ready to die for my country, but moreover, I'm ready to overcome all the difficulties in order to continue to live and to serve my state. And well, maybe it will sound a little bit funny, but personally for me, sometimes it's very difficult to be without a friend, like a person who you can talk for some emotional items. You understand? I'm in a male team, and those rare women at war, it is kind of difficult. There is no female solidarity here, and sometimes I just need a women's conversation. This is sometimes difficult to be alone.
Yeah. No, I understand. Do you find that by being the lone woman in a largely male outfit, that they treat you, that they do they take extra care to protect you? I guess is what I'm saying, or do they treat you as one of the guys?
No, they treat me like a smaller sister, and they protect me and do everything for it. And that's an honor for me that I can feel this.
Okay, well, because that can be difficult, and I understand what you're saying, that men and women are different, and women always have it's better to have a friend that they can confide in, talk things over. Looking back, would you do anything differently now if you had this to do all over again, or are you happy with the choice you made?
Well, to tell the truth, I think a lot about this question, and I think about it very often. And sometimes I get incredibly worried for a long time about this item. And one thing I blamed myself for a long time, that I didn't sign the contract earlier. But it's also wrong, because, for example, in 2022, I worked in a governmental agency, and which is directly related to serving the state. And to say that I didn't help my country, it will be nonsense. So now I already understand that everything has its time, and I wouldn't change anything. If I had done something different then, so perhaps now we won't be able to talk with you, and generally I don't know where I'll be. So everything is going as it should. I think so.
Where did you grow up?
I grew up in Moscow. I was born there, and yeah, that's my home city.
Did any of your friends, when you were signing up, what does your other girlfriend say to you? Do they say you're crazy, or have you lost your mind, or what was the reaction?
Well, after my decision, I lost some friends. It's obviously that not everyone understands for, I think the most question for what you are doing that. And of course, I lost some people, but the main people in your life, like your family and maybe your best friends, they will be always with you, no matter what they think about it. And maybe they won't sign the contract, maybe they won't go to war, but they respect your decision and they understand why you're doing this.
Let me ask about your family heritage, because this is one thing that particularly a lot of Americans just don't appreciate or understand. Did you have a grandfather, grandmother, great-grandfather, great-grandmother that was killed or wounded during the Great Patriotic War?
Of course, my grandfather is a hero of the Soviet Union. He participated in that war. And of course, it's like our family heritage, it's our family history. And I'm very proud of what he was doing. And I'm continuing to doing this now.
Have you been to the Victory Museum in Moscow?
Of course.
And so that one central room that's dedicated to the heroes of the Great Patriotic War, so you could find your grandfather's name in there.
Yes, and also in several days we will have a very great celebration, the big data of our Victory Day. So it's very important for us.
How will you be celebrating that at the front? Because I know that President Putin announced that there would be a 3-day ceasefire, but it sounds like the Ukrainians aren't going to cooperate. So how do frontline soldiers react? Do they lay down the arms or stay alert?
This pause in the front, it didn't work for all these 3 years, and it won't work because the Ukrainian army still continue to make attacks on our territories, on our people, no matter of the data, no matter of the celebration, and our asking for this pause. But anyway, I know that there will be some celebrations in Moscow. Of course, it's very important. And on this day in Kursk region, the administration invited our battalion. As you know, I signed a contract in the Arbat battalion, and we invited to the celebration. So we will take flowers to the oh my God, sorry, I forgot the word.
What
to
is it?
the grave of the soldiers who were died in the Second World War.
Okay. It is, it's a date that I know for the Russian people. I was recently in Moscow, the 1st of March. I had the chance to meet with Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov. And before we went to that meeting, I was with a group of 4 other Russians. Alexander Dugin was one of them. The headmaster of a school, Konstantin Malofiev, and then Mikhail, who's a retired Russian diplomat. And when I asked that question of, how many of you had relatives who died in the Great Patriotic War, every one of them raised their hands. And I was sitting with a man you may know or may not, Judge Napolitano. And I asked him, I said, did you have any relatives that died in World War II? No. And neither in the case of my family. My family goes back to fighting in the American Revolution in 1776. So that's a long, 250 years ago. But that's the difference between what the Russian people have in their soul and the Americans. I've also often suggested that the reason America is so willing to go to war, the reason we've been involved in so many conflicts around the world, is that we've never paid the kind of price that the Russian people paid. And now we jump ahead to now, where once again, you could think back about your grandmother, if she served in the Soviet army, that you're like walking in her footsteps today.
Yeah, so in the time when it's a special military operation, this data and like our heritage and this history, it sounds more emotional because we like have another level, another history trick that we need to face. So it's very emotional, Dave.
So how has your time in the special military operation, how has it changed you?
Well, I think it's too early to talk about it. I'm still in this transformation, but I think that my psychologist will tell then what has changed. But anyway, I have definitely matured, definitely, and yes.
Well, so, and this gets, a little dark, but prior to your enlistment, had you ever been in an emergency situation where someone needed medical attention?
Oh, thanks God, I have never been to this situation. But my colleagues with which I serve, they face it very often. And the medical help in the special military operation, in any operation, I will say so, it's the most important work. And I will say so that as quickly as a soldier gets the medical help or medical delivery, it all depends on the coordinational work of the evacuation group. In general, the assault medic and the evacuation group are half, even not more, of the work during the assault. Like when the soldiers know that a real medic is with them, they feel more confident. And unfortunately, there are many cases when, due to incompetent work in providing emergency medical care or due to the slow work of evacuation group, soldiers who have been saved, they died. But there are many cases. Or when the group doesn't have time to take out the wounded, and then sometimes, for example, a month later, they take out a corpse. The life of soldier depends on the work of the medic. And that this is very important. It's just as important for all soldiers to undergo a course in tactical medicine. And if you don't think about yourself, for example, you should think of your comrade. But there will be many situations when you yourself should give your commander first help. And you should know how to do it. Tactical medicine is the most important skill in war. That is true.
Well, when you enlisted or signed up, I presume you went through basic training. You went through a period of training, learning how to operate in a military unit.
I had my training there in unit when I signed a contract. I had a tactical medicine and some basis with taking a gun.
Okay, so do you consider yourself proficient in firing a pistol?
I won't say that I'm proficient because I'm I think that medical is like your profession from the day you burn.
Yeah.
It is the most important work, and it's very hard to become a profession. And our medicals in the battalion and other medicals in the special military operation, they are all heroes. And I will say thank them for their work, because it's very hard and it's very important for our lives.
Sure.
It's very important.
Sure. I wanted to ask about, how you defend yourself. So you were trained to shoot a pistol, a handgun, as well as a rifle when you went through basic training?
I work with, I don't know how it will call in English, Kalashnikov.
Yeah, Kalashnikov. Yeah.
Kalashnikov.
Kalashnikov.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
I have a Kalashnikov. But
I think it's the best automat in life. But I will say that in the modern war, when we need to face drones, as we know that modern war is a drone war, and of course in every car, in every hand, when you go to an operation, you should have a gun, because gun is the best solution when you face the drone.
I've heard that they prefer to use shotguns.
Like it's gun when which you use in
Shooting birds?
yes.
Yeah, it's a shotgun in English.
Shotgun, yeah.
Shotgun.
Sorry.
No. It was, well, your English is like better than mine. So, and I'm a native speaker.
Thank you.
Yeah. So I have seen some of the videos that the shotguns have proven effective. There are the news reports out, and I don't know if you can talk about this or not, but that the Ukrainians again are attacking along the border of Kursk, trying to break through, and that they're being stopped. Have you been asked to go out and cover that and provide film?
I can't say a lot about it, but of course now we see the situation that the Ukrainian army tries to get to the Sam region. And of course we have I will check one word. I'm sorry.
No, it's fine.
I'm very sorry.
Oh, you have nothing to apologize for.
So we have a border with the Sam region, and it's also Belgorod and Kharkov. So they try to get all of the techniques, all the people to the Kharkov, and from Kharkov they make attacks to our Kursk region, to Belgorod region, and they try to get through the Sam region to our territories on Kursk, because they want to make like a strength there.
Yeah.
In order to, we cannot go through it.
Yeah, no, they're trying to block. It's just, I look at it and I think it's extremely foolish on their part, because all of this, to get more Ukrainians killed. And that's the thing I think a lot of, again, people in the West don't understand. They want to pretend like there's the Ukrainians or some completely different breed of people than Russians, and you all come from Slavic roots, correct?
Yes, but to tell the truth, these attacks, they were obvious, because as we know, no matter that United States and Ukrainian side, our side, are trying to discuss something and go to some greetings, we all understand that this war will still continue.
Yeah.
And no matter that the Kursk region was taken by us, still it is attacks from the Ukrainian side, and this war will continue and go to like a little bit another front line to the Kharkov, and of course every single Russian I think wants to Odessa becomes Russia again.
Yeah.
So I think we have plenty of work.
The from the standpoint of the soldier fighting on the front line, how much blame do they place on the United States for allowing this war to continue, for enabling it?
Well, I will say so that I can say from my guys,
Yeah.
they don't think about it. They don't think about the greetings. They don't think about America and so on. They just doing their job for their country. And of course, every single man in our army wants this war to be ended. But to this time when our ideas won't be ended, like the DNR, LNR, Khersonskaya Oblast, and Zaporozhskaya Oblast, to this time when all the world, and especially Ukraine, won't say that this is our territories and won't take their arms back, we will continue this war. And every single man in our army understands it, and they just work for our idea, for our sovereignty, and for our state.
Now, I think I saw you interviewed previously. Did you do an interview with like Colonel Daniel Davis?
Yeah, we talked with him. Sorry.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, and I remember at the time he asked you about North Korean troops, and then it was like you said, "Well, I can't talk about this." However, now President Putin and Gerasimov have talked about it. So, can you offer any of your observations about what you observed? Because understand where I'm coming from on this. When that news first appeared, I realized it was primarily Western propaganda. They were portraying it as the Russian army is so weakened, so battered, that the North Koreans have to come in and save the Russians. That was the story they were telling. And I knew that was nonsense. Now, what we've learned is that the Korean leader, Kim Jong-un, asked President Putin, "Hey, can I send some of my guys so they can get trained in combat?" And President said, "Okay." And that happened. So, anything you can comment about that experience, that what you've seen or observed?
Yes, so now the topic of the participation of the fighters from North Korea can be discussed. And more importantly, I think this topic needs to be brought out to international resources as much as possible, because Russia is not alone. And it has a powerful ally, which in the event of other armed conflicts, will also provide assistance. And this works like from the side of North Korea and also from our side. And it also greatly strengthens the status of North Korea itself, and it works as a like warning for a lot of countries. And me myself, I met fighters from the North Korea in Suja, and I think that the Koreans had to adapt to the conditions of the new modern war, since their existing skills were like warfare in the classic sense.
Yes.
And here, like imagine drones, fiber optics, a completely different story. And therefore, they gained colossal experience, considering that they are already considered to have a strong army. The fighters are very are very hardworking, hardly, and fight well. And having gained experience here on Correspondent, they have become even stronger and will now implement this experience gained in the future exercises. And the training ground is an integral part of the exercises, and of course participation, tactical skills is very important. And the polygon, for example, endurance and the kind of trajectory of actions which they develop, so that everything is done automatically, like they learn it. But however, already in real actions, for example, the same assault, the situations may be different, where you will have to turn on and adapt to the situation. And here they had this experience that learning from mistakes, it worked. And also it is very interesting that the main age of Korean fighters was like 23, 27 years. So this is young guys. And I think that these guys will form a new elite army, which will take this experience. Moreover, it's important to say that it's their first experience in real war, the participation in real war. So they will take this experience, go back to North Korea and share this experience. So the Korean army will be very increased.
Yeah, well, and it's good to have people with experience.
Yes,
they're not dealing with it as a theory, but it's a reality. How was the communication issue? Did they show up speaking Russian, or did you have Korean translators available? Because, as you know, when you give out commands and you're under stress and in a combat conditions, it's sometimes even in normal language it's difficult.
Of course, it were translators, because we have very different languages, and it won't work with Hans language or something like that.
Yeah.
Of course, we had translators, and as we see the result, the translators work, the North Korean fighters work. We had an excellent result, as which we see in the Correspondent. So I think everyone did their job perfectly, and we will continue to work together and make a great big army.
One of the most remarkable military operations that has been carried out by Russia took place in Suja with the infiltration through the gas pipeline. That where the soldiers were some of the men in your unit involved with that operation?
You mean the Operation Flow?
That where they entered the gas pipeline underground.
It's called the Operation Flow.
Operation Flow.
Yes, my battalion didn't take part in this operation, but our colleagues from Ahmad and the veteran battalion, they took part in this operation. And for all our battalion and for all of my country, they're real heroes, because it was like a magical operation that they made, and they were preparing for it for several months. And they made a great job.
Well, they're going to be making movies about this. I mean, this is, I think, probably will count as one of the, if not the most, one of the most remarkable incredible military operations that Russia has carried out during the course of the special military operation. It really was just the notion of bending over and having to walk 10 kilometers,
Yes.
carrying weapons and gear. That is, those are some hard men. A remarkable display. How important is troop rotation for morale? Do you understand what I mean by? So, for example, you've been at the front for 12 months or longer.
Yeah, of course I understand. Yes, and this is very good question. Yeah, thank you for it. Like rotation is very important for both like high quality work and for maintaining the normal mental, physical, and emotional state of the fighters. Because the composition must change, and it doesn't change while some are fighting, others are gaining strength and practicing, then they change. Rotation like solves the problems of burnout or like some conflicts they may be, and they providing the fighter with new tasks and a team and prospects. So it's very important thing.
It actually it reminds me a little bit of how hockey is played, correct? Because hockey, you get the players out on the ice initially, and then there's a turnover when they get you're not keeping the same people on the ice the entire time. They'd be too exhausted, so you keep funneling in new players. So only this isn't a game. This is deadly, and I applaud your courage in signing up. What do your parents say? Were they mad at you when you enlisted, or were they recognizing, oh, we did a good job. We raised a strong, independent woman, and she's going to make her own decisions?
Of course, they are very worried, but they're proud of me. They're really proud of me, and I hope that I will take them back for their worries, and sometime sooner I'll be home and everything will be okay.
Well, people around the world watch these videos I put out. I'm fortunate to have a global audience. What is it that you would like that global audience to know about the nature of what you're doing and why making this sacrifice is so important?
Maybe I don't want to say anything about my participation, but I will say that I think we should say more often it to the world that every war will soon end. And we all understand that it's in somehow it's political processes and like political game. But what is more important in this war, we see the death of people, and a lot of people die in these wars. And I think one of the goals of my work is to show the work of these people and what are they dying for. And if the world thinks that the truth is on the side of Ukraine people, look on other guys, on our guys, how they fight, for what they fight, and what ideas they have. And we will not stop until our conditions of this war will be taken for all the world. And I think it's very important. It's a very good history trick for all of us not to make these mistakes in the future and not to make these wars again. It's very important.
Well, Elizaveta, I thank you so much for taking your time
Thank you.
to
Thank
talk
you so much.
to talk to an old man. You know,
Thank you.
you'd be the age of my granddaughter. So you're sitting here saying, "Oh my God, I had to talk to Grandpa for a half hour." So
Thank you so much.
listen, stay safe. Continue to do what you're doing, and wish you well. And if I can ever be of any assistance, just reach out and let me know. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I hope you enjoyed that conversation with Elizaveta, a brave young woman with great intelligence and courage. I thank you for watching this episode of Countercurrents. Please share it with friends, family. Hit the like and subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next episode. I'm Larry Johnson. This is Countercurrents.